Lou Christie, the iconic falsetto-powered voice behind the 1966 chart-topping hit Lightnin Strikes, has died at the age of 82 following a brief illness. He passed away peacefully at his home in Pittsburgh, surrounded by loved ones, his family confirmed. While the exact cause of death has not been disclosed, his passing comes after a short period of declining health. As news of his death spread, an outpouring of tributes flooded in from fellow musicians, fans, and longtime collaborators. From fellow performers to devoted listeners across generations, the sentiment was unanimous. Lou Christie was more than a pop singer. He was a storyteller, a vocal trailblazer, and an emotional force. With a rare four-octave range and a bold operatic delivery, he brought raw feeling into mainstream music and helped redefine what it meant to sing with heart. Now, as the world remembers him, his voice continues to echo far beyond the final curtain. The music world has lost one of its most distinctive voices. Lou Christie, the iconic falsetto-powered singer behind the chart-topping 1966 hit Lightnin Strikes, has passed away at the age of 82. He died peacefully at his home in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, after a brief illness, surrounded by his loved ones. Though his family did not disclose the specific cause of death, they confirmed it followed a short period of declining health. In their statement, they emphasized his peaceful passing and the immense love and support that surrounded him in his final days. Born Luigi Alfredo Giovanni Sacco on February 19, 1943, Lou Christie's unmistakable falsetto became one of the defining sounds of the 1960s pop rock scene. With his emotionally intense delivery and theatrical style, Christie captured the youthful intensity of love, heartbreak, and longing in a way few artists could. His signature hit Lightnin Strikes reached No. 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 on his 23rd birthday, and remains a timeless classic more than half a century later. From The Gypsy Cried to Rhapsody in the Rain and I'm Gonna Make You Mine, Christie's songs painted vivid portraits of romance, restlessness, and emotional rebellion. As news of Christie's passing spread, fans, musicians, and industry professionals flooded social media with heartfelt tributes, memories, and gratitude. His family shared an emotional message, saying, "He was cherished not only by his family and close friends, but also by countless fans whose lives he touched with his kindness, generosity, musical talent, humor, and spirit. His absence leaves a profound void in all our hearts." Publicists and music historians praised his extraordinary vocal range, noting that his four-octave voice and powerful falsetto made him one of the most unique performers of his generation. A longtime collaborator who played with Christie on tour remembered him fondly. Always a gentleman, always singing his heart out, always a joy to be around. Lou didn't just sing songs, he made you feel them. His stage energy was unmatched, even in his 70s. Another artist, recalling their first time sharing a stage with Christie, said, "He could walk into a room, crack a joke, and then blow everyone away with one verse." You never forgot being around Lou Christie. Fans who grew up in the 60s and 70s spoke of him not just as a star, but as a companion in their most important memories. First loves, road trips, slow dances, and heartbreaks. One fan wrote, "Lou Christie sang the soundtrack of my teenage years. He made every emotion feel like a symphony." Even younger generations, discovering him through vintage playlists and curated vinyl, recognized the raw honesty and fearless emotion in his work. Lou Christie's influence is vast, even if he was never one to chase headlines. His music spoke for him, and continues to do so. He pioneered a vocal style that was as bold as it was vulnerable, paving the way for future artists who dared to blur the lines between strength and sensitivity. Working with his longtime writing partner, the classically trained Twyla Herbert, Christie co-wrote many of his hits, infusing them with theatrical flair and deep emotional tension. His music was more than catchy choruses, it was cinematic storytelling. His ballads were operatic, yet always grounded in the human heart. He toured well into his 70s, often sharing the stage with other Golden Age icons, but he never treated those performances as nostalgic throwbacks. Every show was a celebration of life, love, and the enduring power of a great song. Behind the falsetto and fame was a man deeply rooted in love and humility. Married to his wife Francesca for over 50 years, Christie lived a quiet, grounded life off-stage. Friends recall a man who was thoughtful, witty, generous with his time, and incredibly down-to-earth. He mentored younger artists, never hesitated to lend advice, and always made room for one more story or one more laugh. Those who worked closely with him describe a man who cared just as much about how music made people feel as he did about the mechanics of making it. He once said in an interview, "If a song doesn't stir something inside you, then it's not finished." That ethos guided his entire career. As we say farewell to Lou Christie, we also say thank you, not just for the music, but for the man. Thank you for the courage to be bold in voice and tender in heart, for showing us that a note held high could carry as much strength as a shout, for proving that pop music could be as operatic as it was personal, as explosive as it was vulnerable. Lou didn't just write songs. He crafted experiences, emotional landscapes that invited us to feel deeply, dance freely, and remember vividly. From the first time we heard Lightnin Strikes, we knew we were listening to something different. There was drama in that song. Fire. Longing. Power. His falsetto didn't just hit the high notes. It soared past convention, declaring that love could be chaotic, desperate, and divine all at once. He dared to sound emotional in an era where men in music were often told to be cool, controlled, and detached. Lou Christie rejected that. He leaned into his feelings. He bared his soul. And in doing so, he gave permission to generations of artists and fans to do the same. He reminded the world that falsetto could roar, that masculinity could carry emotion, that vulnerability wasn't a flaw, but a strength. When he sang, it wasn't just entertainment. It was release. It was healing. It was truth. And though the world is quieter without his voice today, the echo of his music lives on, not just in playlists or record collections, but in the moments that truly matter. The first dance at a wedding, the radio in the car on a summer night, the soundtrack to a memory we never wanted to end. That's where Lou lives now. In every note, in every story his music helped write, in every heart he touched. We are grateful not just for the hits, but for the bravery behind them. Grateful for a voice that could tremble with love, shout with frustration, and melt into yearning. Grateful for songs that didn't shy away from emotional chaos, but embraced it with open arms. Songs that said, "I feel this too." Even outside the studio and spotlight, Lou Christie lived with quiet dignity. He wasn't one to chase trends or bend to pressure. He knew who he was, and he stayed true to that. He believed in the art of storytelling through melody, in lyrics that meant something, in compositions that reached into the soul and stirred something real. His career spanned decades, and he never stopped performing, not just because he loved the stage, but because he loved the connection. He loved seeing the look in people's eyes when that first note dropped. He loved singing the words they already knew by heart. It was never about fame for Lou. It was about feeling. And his songs, they didn't age. They didn't fade. They endured because they were built on emotion, not gimmicks. They told stories that still ring true. The thrill of forbidden love, the heartbreak of goodbye, the wild joy of being young and alive. Songs like Two Faces Have I, Rhapsody in the Rain, I'm Gonna Make You Mine. They still resonate today, not because they're old, but because they're eternal. Lou's voice, soaring, raw, unmistakable, was the centerpiece. That voice, now stilled, echoes on through every speaker that plays his music, every soul that remembers how it felt to listen to him for the first time. But his voice wasn't the only thing that made him special. It was his spirit. Those who met him describe a kind, funny, deeply sincere man. A man who loved deeply, laughed easily, and treated people with warmth and respect. A man who never let ego overpower empathy. He was devoted to his family, especially his beloved wife Francesca, with whom he shared a rare and enduring love. He remained close to his roots, proud of his upbringing and always grateful for those who supported him from the beginning. He never forgot who he was, or why he started making music in the first place. He gave us more than songs. He gave us moments, and in return, we give him our gratitude. We carry his memory not just in our ears, but in our hearts, because music like his doesn't fade with time. It becomes part of us. As we remember Lou Christie, let's not focus only on the silence he leaves behind, but on the sound he gave the world. Let's remember that when he sang, he did more than entertain. He healed, he stirred, he lifted, he connected. He turned human emotion into harmony. He turned longing into legacy. He turned sound into something sacred. Rest peacefully, Lou. Your hands are still, but your song plays on. You gave us lightning once, and now you are among the stars. The skies are brighter for having known your fire. And your voice, full of hope, full of heartbreak, full of heart, is forever part of the sky. Thank you, Lou. You made the world feel more. And that is the greatest gift an artist can give.